Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
I tried to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to King of the Hill podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Rusty, that ain't right Friday. We're back.
That's not right Friday. It's actually us this time.
We're back. So today I wanted to kind of ease us back into this thing, right? These are our actual voices. We are live human beings.
Live human beings.
Not computers and not my cloned voice.
Not the simulations.
Yeah, the simulation may still be going, but
It was a test. Yeah, it was a test run of the simulation.
We're all batteries. So I was on Reddit. I hang out on Reddit a lot.
Yeah, it's a place to be.
It's just so much information.
You go to Discord too. There's information there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of weirdos there too.
So this comes from
which we're going to start a Discord. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
again.
no,
I'm still going to start one.
This comes from the subreddit King of the Hill, and the
which
title
I'm banned from.
The title of it just says, "Just finished my first complete viewing of King of the Hill." Review/AMA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this person, this is the first time they've ever watched it through. And they say, in anticipation for the new episodes coming out sometime in the future, I started watching King of the Hill last year and have been working through all 13 seasons. I finally finished today. Wanted to come and discuss with other fans how I enjoyed the show. They say, I've got to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Which I think that's a little low.
I think that's low. I might be biased because I run me and Mike run this the number one King of the Hill podcast in the world.
Sure.
So we might be a little biased on that, but I think it's a 10 out of 10. If not, it transcends the 10 out of 10 scale, and then you have to take it up to like 10, 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, 10, 4.
But he does say very enjoyable, lovable characters, some quotable moments that I occasionally throw out since starting the series. All in all, great American anime, which I don't believe that is. I was expecting.
Well, it is an anime. What's anime? Slice
of
life.
Yeah, but I see anime as like, I don't know, for some reason I see it as Japanese anime.
Well, the Japanese see it as an American anime. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with the cult following of King of the Hill in Japan, there's actually the Japanese fan community of King of the Hill. They argue over dub versus subbed.
They love Bobby.
Just in the same way that we would argue over dub versus subbed Dragon Ball Z or whatever it may be. So dub versus subbed, that's their argument in Japan over King of the Hill. So that I think that solidifies it as an American.
Well, I think that
American anime.
I think that solidifies their stuff over here too, right? I mean, that's the same argument we have. Dub
yeah,
and sub,
for sure.
You know.
Well, that's an argument that goes on a lot, yeah.
So this person says, I think my favorite characters are, in no particular order, Bobby, Luann, Dale, and Bill. Okay. Says, genuinely cannot count how many times Luann says something and I bust a gut reacting to her bless your heart energy, which I've never thought of it that way, but that is what it is.
It is exactly what it is.
Says one of the things I like most about the show was it's an animated sitcom that did not dive into the world of absolute silliness and nonsense. And he's right. They are right about that because it is. We've talked about that before.
There's very few episodes where there's silliness.
Yeah,
and
it's a live
in
action.
those episodes, those are the episodes Mike Judge even says that those aren't really like his favorite episode type
You could
things.
make this into a live action show in a heartbeat. There's no problem with
You
that.
could. Speaking of live action shows, Matthew McConaughey would be somebody that would be a good role. He was
Boomhauer.
actually just in a music video I watched the other
Oh, really?
night. I'm not a really big fan of a lot of newer country music. I like a lot of new music, just not newer country music. But there's this guy named Zach Bryan who's came out over the last few years.
Yeah, I know that.
And he did a song called Nine Ball. And he just released a video for it, and it's like Matthew McConaughey with his son in a bar teaching him how to play 9-ball, and then like the son like grows up and like the kid's like beating everybody in the bar at pool. You know,
One of the quotes I always use, and my wife uses the same one. I think it's from Sweet Home Alabama, with what's the name of the girl that's in Sweet Home Alabama?
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon. She comes into this bar, and she's come back to town for the first time in forever because all she wanted to do was get out of her hometown. And she sees this old friend of hers. She goes, "Oh, you got a baby in a bar."
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
She's married to Ryan Felipe, who was also the voice of Wally in our previous episode.
Says one of the things I like about the show is an animated sitcom did not dive into the absolute silliness and nonsense. It was grounded, beginning to end. The plot devices, the stories, the conflicts all felt real. And I think it's a really good point. It says, I enjoyed my time in Arlen and look forward to coming back in the future, but now I'm off to Springfield for my latest rewatch of my favorite animated sitcom, I'll tell you what. So, I mean, I thought that was kind of cool. And then these two people went back and forth, Secret Dojo and Uncontained Sun, S-U-N.
Shout out to those guys.
The Secret Dojo, this is 14 days ago. Secret Dojo says, I just finished it last night and loved it. Uncontained Sun says, Uncontained Sun says, what was your favorite episode? Secret Dojo says, ooh, I really like the pig one that's like a horror movie. The Country Western Stars one was very funny. The last episode was really sweet. It is hard to pick one. Oh, the one where Dale gets hired to fire everyone was really good as well. I love Tom Petty in it. I never even knew he was in it before, and he did a great job.
Yeah.
And so the pig one, they're talking about pig. What do you call it? It's not Pygmalion. It's Is it Pygmalion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the one that people want. They won't show places now.
I'm on this same thread you're reading here, and we got one here. So it says Stephen J. Klein, FWIW, whatever that means. What does that mean?
FWIW.
For what it's worth.
For
what it's worth. Okay. I went to middle school and high school with Pamela Segal, now Pamela Adlon, the woman who voiced Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
Also her brother Greg, who is not in show business. He was a year ahead of me and she was a year behind me. And while we were in high school, she was in Grease 2. The next quote underneath it, Grease 2 was such a horrible cash grab movie that it should be erased from the archive. No artistic merit at all. And then the next one is Jay Klein again, the Stephen J. Klein, the classmate.
That's what I love about the internet.
I love it too.
It's just so bad. It's just so random.
It's so random.
That's a horrible movie.
I never saw Grease 2, but if someone you're on a first name basis with appears in a major motion picture, well, you're going to know about it. I had completely forgotten about her until 25 or 30 years ago when I was at a friend's house watching a movie called Bed of Roses. As we were watching it, I kept saying, that supporting actress is so familiar. Where do I know her from? My friend and his wife were both convinced that I was confusing her with Demi Moore. It wasn't until the credits rolled that I found out why she seemed so popular. So apparently she's got one of her classmates in the comment section on Reddit. Imagine going to high school or knowing Pamela Adlon at one point in her life on a first name basis, and then the only connection you have to her now is to be able to post about it on a Reddit feed.
My wife went to school with Shannon Elizabeth from American Pie.
Yeah.
Sure. That's not her real name.
No, it's not. Is it?
No.
So where was that? Where was that at?
Waco High.
She went to Waco High. Shannon Elizabeth did.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I know that there was. They were supposed to have lived in the area. The Simpsons. Jessica Simpson or something. They were supposed to have lived in the area.
She's from around here. I think I think we're talking like Mahia or something.
The only one I know for sure that is from Waco is Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, yeah.
And never lived here and never came back.
His grandmother was from here, and he lived with his grandmother for a little bit.
Yeah, never looked back.
So this uncontained son says, oh, my God, when Dale goes corporate in the episode, I always trust to fall asleep to / start a rewatch at. It is so good. Woof, that was a roller coaster.
A mouthful.
Uncontained son also says, when Peggy abducted that schoolgirl. And I don't remember that one, but I don't think we've gotten to it yet.
Yeah, I don't
And
remember.
then Bobby and Hank growing a rose. Didn't know what they were talking about there, but I'm sure we'll get to it. And then when Bobby is the Dalai Lama, I remember that one. That was a good episode. And then when Connie's cousin comes and dupes Bobby into cooking meth, that is a good one. We're not.
The meth
yet,
episode. That's
one.
in season 5, isn't it?
I think so. I think we're getting there.
Maybe.
We're
I'm
getting
not
close.
sure. I can't remember.
They say any Bill episode, and then they finish it up with the Firehouse episode, only because it's the most we hear Boomhauer talk, and I love his dang old talking, man. Shadow Draw 126 says, each of these are great. The field trip episode is maybe my favorite Peggy episode for sure. Uncontained Son then responds with, what part of any episode made you laugh the hardest? Shadow Draw 126 says, honestly, anytime Luann showed off how dumb she was, it always cracked me up the hardest. And he's got a quote down here that says, I am a proud, ignorant woman.
You know what makes me, I don't know what episode it is.
And by the way, the people that gripe that we get on Luann, that was not us. That was some dude on Reddit.
Yeah, that was somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't remember what episode it's in, but my ultimate favorite line that no matter how many times I hear it, it just cracks me up. I was sitting on, it was me and a buddy of mine that I worked at the Taco Bell at the time, and we were out of our gourds, stoned,
Sure.
little drunk, and it was real late. We just finished work at like 3 a.m, and it's like sun's coming up, and we're watching this episode, and it's the episode where Hank looks at Bobby and says, well, I love you, son. He looks at him and goes, hell, I love you too, Dad. And it just, I don't know why every time he does that, it just makes me laugh. It's so wholesome. It's such a wholesome moment, but how quick Bobby just goes, well, hell, I love you too, Dad. It just, kills me every time I hear it.
I love any time there's like no reaction time. It's just boom, they respond with something.
Yeah, I like that too.
So Kara is a puppy. Says, what's your opinion on Peggy? Did you have a favorite episode? And Shadow Ra 126 says, Peggy, boy, does she mean well, but sometimes she is a train wreck. I will say this, I enjoy a good petty character, and when Peggy gets petty, it's always nice. Her Spanish was so awful, it was genuinely made me laugh out loud. Also, her skydiving incident made me laugh harder than it should have. It is a good one. But then says, my favorite episode, this is tough. I loved when they went to Japan and met Hank's brother. What's his name?
Hank's brother?
Yeah.
Junichiro.
Junichiro. And says Bobby Goes Nuts and is also a great one. Also, the series finale was one that stuck the landing. So I just wanted to kind of, bring this up.
I like this kind of stuff because I like perspective.
Well, I love how this was 14 days ago.
Yeah.
I love how 2 weeks ago, people are still talking about this series that went off.
First time watching it too.
Ago.
First time watching it too.
No kidding.
And
right?
I noticed that because that's what I just did. Like as you're reading, I went and typed it on Reddit, like first time watcher King of the Hill.
Sure.
And it's so many people are
people
catching it for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's 2024, so it's insane the following that it got during its run and retained after its run, and then now it's piling on new viewers.
Well, I think a lot of these people were pretty young whenever it ended, or whenever it was on and stuff, and now they're like discovering it for the first time, kind of, because they've heard people talk about it all their life, I'm sure.
AI is a really, really touchy subject, but one of my favorite things that's going around with AI music is they're taking people like Hank's voice and they're putting it on like Hank Williams songs.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like Hank Hill singing like all Hank Williams hits or
like
singing
that.
whatever. Like there was one where he was singing "Heaven Let Your Light Shine Down," that song or whatever.
Blind Melon?
No, that's not Blind Melon. That's Collective Soul.
Collective Soul.
It was Collective Soul.
Same
song.
time frame.
Same time frame. Yeah. All that what do they call it? Jock rock?
I don't know.
Is that what it's called nowadays?
it was
Dad
something.
rock. It's like classic rock for me.
Yeah.
It's like my era of classic rock.
Whenever I want like a
Oh, that makes me
like
cringe.
calm,
Ugh.
like I want like a calm like music bed playing behind me.
Yeah.
I go, Alexa, play yacht rock, and so it plays all that crappy yacht rock.
The band Anal Cunt is now classic rock.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that band before?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's now classic rock. That's how
Yeah.
how far time has come that
Oh, yeah.
they're now classic
It's gone
rock.
quick. Hey, we just, like I said, we just came from San Antonio not long ago, and we went to a concert there at a place called Paper Tiger. Shout out to Paper Tiger,
Shout
by
out
the
Paper
way.
Tiger.
Great place, because it's
No smoking,
no, it's built for concerts. I mean, it's
yeah.
just it's a smaller place.
but it's kind of
It's got a
like good
concert
sound feel to
room.
it. Yeah.
It didn't matter, because it's dark and there's food trucks outside and they can open up the big bay doors to get air to come through and all that. It's just one of those kind of places.
Spit on the floor.
Kind of. And we went to see a band called Fiddler.
Okay.
My daughter found Fiddler and kept telling me to listen to it, and I finally listened to it. And I was like, "Holy crap! This is a really good, straight ahead rock and roll band."
Yeah.
The lead singer of this band is sober, and he used to be a heroin addict and stuff.
Yeah.
And so he sings a lot of songs about that. So some of that resonates with me, just because. But great band. If you guys don't know Fiddler, go out and find them. But something happened at that concert that I've never seen, and I've been to probably 300 live shows, right, or more. At one point, he goes, "All right, I want everybody to sit on the floor." And so everybody sat down on the floor, right? I mean, I'm in the back, watching this.
Yeah.
All these kids sit down on the floor, and he starts playing the song that starts off slow. And when it hits, like, bam, everybody just jumped up all at the same time.
Oh, wow.
I just thought it was one of the coolest fucking
That's
moments
cool.
I've ever seen.
Well, that's
at
the
a
thing.
concert.
Like performers,
Lot of fun.
when they can control the entire audience. If you could, like, I think that's the best way, and I think that's what a lot of people like don't really do. Like, I notice it in. I don't go to as many live shows as you,
Yeah.
but I've been to a lot of independent music live
Sure.
shows with like people that are trying to come up and be something one day, and a lot of them really just don't have that command of the audience in a
Yeah.
way. Like,
Yeah.
you got to give the audience, make them focus on you, and that's the best way to do it. Is if you get everybody's attention to sit down, you have their attention.
Boy, I will tell you about these kids. They would do anything that dude told them to. And the funny thing was, like, I'm 54 years old.
Yeah.
Been to a lot of concerts. I have terrible tinnitus because
Yeah,
of it.
I imagine.
I go to small shows now, but I love finding new music and new bands, and I love going to see live music. I don't really care what it is, honestly.
Yeah.
And we've thrown, several.
Yeah,
live
we've done live
shows and
stuff.
like that.
Yeah, March we'll have a live band playing.
It's true.
Playing before
Flame
our
Tricks.
show. The Flame Trick Subs.
Flame Trick Subs. They're going to play us on, but the opening band, which they were fine, but they said, "Hey, tonight this stage is yours," and so. During their set, and then especially during Fiddler's set, they would just let kids run up on the stage and dance around and then jump out and get crowd passed around
wow.
and all this stuff. It was
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome.
If my wife had not been there, I probably would have broken a hip or something
Yeah,
because I wanted to be a part of that. That
Yeah, I
was,
bet
that
you
just seemed
did.
fun, man. But anyway, that was great. And what I'm doing now is I started rewatching Silicon Valley. I don't know if you've ever watched it through.
I'm in the middle of a rewatch of Home Videos.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley's, Mike Judge. And
Yeah.
so we're in the same ballpark here. And I forgot how damn good that show is.
It's a funny show.
Good.
I've never
series,
watched
man.
it in its entirety. I've watched an episode here or there,
Yeah.
and what I've seen of it is hilarious. I need to watch it. It's on my list of things to watch.
Continuity is great throughout the series. And the nice thing is Mike Judge used to be kind of in that tech world anyway.
Is it
so
David
The
Duchovny?
tech makes sense. No. No, it's
Who's
I don't remember the guy's name, but it's also Jared from The Office. On that he was Gabe, the real skinny guy.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And then it's got Kamal Nanjiani.
Okay.
And some other folks in it, but it's just so good. It's just very funny. And the tech,
Californication.
Yeah,
that was David
Californication was
Duchovny.
David Duchovny,
That was
yeah.
David Duchovny. Yes, that's what I was
But
saying.
anyway, I just thought I'd say something about that because
Yeah,
boy,
no.
is that a good series.
Yeah, no,
really,
for sure.
really good. All right, you got anything else for us on Reddit?
No, that'll work.
Well, I think this is a good. Let's get back into a Friday rhythm, and I want to thank all you guys for sticking with us and stick around because We've got more regular episodes coming and more Friday
Yeah, for
material.
sure.
And then also make sure you're still checking out Swimmer's Ear.
Yeah, check out Swimmer's Ear for us, the Adult Swim Swam podcast.
Swim Swam. All right, where can they find us?
You can find us at bwaaaakoth.com, or you can find us on social media platforms at bwaaaakoth. And we appreciate you. We matanye.
We Matanya indeed.
They gave it 1 star.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.